We all know how great Anthony Davis is, but I do not understand, Zach, and thank you for joining us, how it is that the Portland backcourt is being outplayed at home.
I mean, some of it is Anthony Davis, right? I mean, the dude is absolutely everywhere. You put him in the pick and roll, he's a menace. Last night he guards Al Farouk Amino, except he doesn't even guard him. He just sort of posts up in the paint and swats at everything. And then Drew Holiday, people are starting to realize how good this dude is. And if you put him on Damian Lillard for 70 possessions a game or whatever it is, Damian Lillard's life is not going to be very fun.
Zach, if DeMarcus Cousins is healthy, would this team be a threat to Houston or Golden State?
I think that's actually the most fascinating question is, if they go on to win this series, which is not a done deal, I don't know how much we can trust them given their track record, but what do you do with DeMarcus Cousins? You've played very well with a spacing power forward in Mirotic in his spot and Davis playing entirely at center now. Basically, what is that like? How much better would they be if you took Mirotic out and put Cousins in? I mean, how much better were they really? Were they any better at all? I think that's the most fascinating question they face as an organization if this continues to go well for them.
You are telling us that we are now growing to learn how good was it Drew Holiday is on defense. And what I wanted to ask you is, I didn't think there was any such thing as guarding Damian Lillard well. I didn't think that there is a guy out there really outside of maybe LeBron if he has to do it all game in his prime. But is there such a thing as a guy that guards Lillard well?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the great myths of NBA basketball over the last 5 or 6 years, as all these point guards have come up and started jacking threes from Curry range. This idea that, point guard defense is impossible. It doesn't matter. The only defenders who matter are wings and big men. And I never thought that was true. I don't think it's true. And look, it's hard to guard Damian Lillard when someone sets a screen for him. But if you can make it 10% harder for him, if you're 6 inches closer than the average point guard defender would be and your arms are 3 inches longer, all of that stuff adds up to little percentage point wins here or there. And Drew Holiday is big and tough and smart. And yeah, he's one of the few guys who maybe can do it.
Zach, I know you wrote about Game 1, the Cavs series. Game 2 is tonight, and for me, it's a must-win for the Cavaliers. But I know you wrote about it for ESPN.com. What did you see? What concerned you the most about what you saw out of the Cavaliers in Game 1?
It was just such a blah game. Just blah. Jeff Green was terrible, and they're not guarding him. They're treating him like the Pelicans are treating Aminu. Just put a center on him and have the center rove all over the floor. And this is sort of the conundrum with LeBron, right? I mean, he gets in these playoff series, and look, Bogdanovic played a really nice game on him, and he's an underrated defender. You cannot tell me that dude has a chance if LeBron just says, hey, I'm going to post up 12 feet from the rim, give me the damn ball every single time, and we're going to get a three or a layup or a dunk. And he just doesn't do that until their backs are against the wall. And if he agrees with you and thinks their backs are against the wall tonight, I want to see LeBron go into, LeBron finals mode. Let's see it, because they can't guard him down there.
All right, Zach, but what the hell, man? 18 at home, losing by 18 at home, and scoring 80 to open the playoffs. What the hell with that Cavs team, Zach? That's the question. Zach, the question is what the hell? That's the question, is what the hell, Zach?
I agree with you. I just thought it was they played it like it was game 83. There was no urgency. Now, they did miss. They were 8 of 34 from three, and you want to hang your hat on, that will change. Well, if they hit their average from three, they still lose the game to a 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, and their rotations are all a mess. Kyle Korver played 4 minutes. They don't know if they should start Lance or Larry Nance or not start Larry Nance. It was just sort of like the verve, one team played really, really hard and really, really urgently, and the other team just kind of played an NBA basketball game like it was February.
I'd be interested to get your thoughts on this, because for me, this is the infuriating thing about LeBron James. I heard Stephen A. Smith say this the other day, and I happen to agree with what he said, where with LeBron, you can't count out that maybe LeBron doesn't want to get to the finals because he doesn't want a 6 finals loss on his resume. Therefore, he'd rather just bow out now and go figure out where he's going to go next. That infuriates me because you want him to be a competitor, not think that way. But I happen to think, Zach, that he does think that way.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. What I would buy is maybe this, and you guys have seen this before up close in Miami. We all did, and people in Cleveland will say they've seen it before. If he doesn't think they can win, if he doesn't think this is a great team, and he's staring at free agency, it would be human nature for him to maybe have 2% of his head not where it was when he was locked
2%.
in. 2%.
Wait a minute, guys.
Wow, he was getting somewhere good, though.
No, he wasn't. No, 2%. No, 3%, Zach. Zach, make it 3%.
Well, I'm not going to cycle.
Zach,
I'm not going to cycle.
You already did.
The guy. I'm not.
You said maybe 2%.
I'm not going to do that.
You said maybe 2%. Now I think we can push
4%.
it. It seems like it might be closer to 4%. Zach, say it. Put your name on it. Let's see if we could put it on the ESPN scroll.
Look, let's see what happens in Game 2. But this did not look like the engaged supernova LeBron that we've seen. And if he would look at this Cavs season has been crazy and melodramatic, and they just have never really hit a gear of greatness other than that 18-game run against almost all bad teams in November and December.
You are a responsible, nuanced journalist. The low post, I'm telling you, I've told you this before. You go listen to Zach Lowe and you will get information the way nobody else in journalism is doing it, where it's film study, it is talking to scouts, it is being plugged in, it is being reasonable and being nuanced. Now, all of that said, though, Zach, you will predict what will happen with this Cavs team. No more of this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. You're going to tell me whether they're getting out of the first round or not, and you're going to put your name on it.
Oh, I already predicted they would get out of the first round, and I've already predicted that I think LeBron is more likely to leave than he is to stay. I don't know what else you want me to say, but I think they're going to beat Indiana. I picked them to win in 5. I wouldn't even deviate from that pick at this point. They're better, and they will play better. What happens beyond here is a little bit more of a mystery, but I predicted before the season LeBron will leave. If you had to put a gun to my head and say, where is he going to be next year, I don't know, but I wouldn't guess Cleveland if I had to guess.
Wow, that's my favorite game, man. I have him, just so you know, Zach, gun to my head, I have him with Kawhi Leonard down in Miami. How about that?
Oh, what about that? Go
Yeah.
A gun to your head, Zach. Kawhi is in San Antonio next season.
I would say, again, given those parameters that you just said, those violent parameters, I would say no. I mean, the smoke here, this is beyond smoke at this point. I guess it might be just fire now. It might be straight up fire. The barbs that are going back and forth. He's not with the team. I don't know what other conclusion you're supposed to draw. And you see these reports trickle out like, oh, the Spurs are deflecting trade calls. The Spurs are posturing that they won't trade Kawhi. Of course they are. What are they going to do? Surrender and throw their hands up in the air? It's the playoffs. They're not going to do that. But, yeah, if you had to bet, I mean, I think that's the best bet to make.
All right, solid game of gun to your head, man. And you brought it up, by the way.
I've got another. Another round.
Okay, all right.
Gun to your head. Warriors, Rockets.
Ooh.
What's the Steph Curry assumption?
That there's a gun to your head.
Okay, well, is he holding it, or is it just a random person
right now.
holding a gun?
It's right now.
Right now, current teams.
Warriors still. Warriors still. I've said Warriors all year. I think if Curry's at 85, 90%, I take Warriors. If he's not in the series or if he's limping around and he's at 50%, I would probably take Rockets.
What if he's 65%, Zach? What if he's 65%?
Rockets, probably.
Probably. Listen.
That's not how gun to your head works.
I'm an expert at gun to your head, man. You just got to give. Like, you just got to let it
No
fly,
problem.
man. And then hope you're right and hope that you're still alive after the series.
No problem, please.
Yeah,
I care about the 2% that Zach Lowe thinks.
So do I.
A lot of people do.
Well, call him back then, and I'll apologize to
my
him.
number blocked now.
All right. Well, I'll apologize to him, and I'll do it so you can get your little morsels of Zach Lowe nuggets.
Usually I send them a text thanking him because the guys usually ask me to get Zach on.
Because he doesn't answer our calls.
Right. And I thanked him. Usually I thank him after the interviews. Today I just texted him, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, what?
He hasn't responded.
Well, let's see if we can get Zach back on next segment to finish his thought, and we'll prove me wrong. We'll figure out whether I'm wrong or not, whether the thought is going to be worthy of getting into the ESPN scrolling galaxy where people are talking and making news.
Do you think he'll be up for another round of gun to your head?
I didn't think he liked that so much. I thought it was the best part of the entire segment.
He started it.
No, but he didn't. But he started it unironically. He started it as, well, you put a gun to my head, then we put the gun to his head, and he backed away.
Yeah, the game changed to violent parameters.
Yeah, I did. That's what happened. Man, either roll along or get left behind.
Send him a text that says, hey. Just break the ice with, hey.
So wait a minute. What is the poll question, Mike? What is the poll question that mocks me at maximum expense that points out how wrong I was about everything I did in that segment with Zach Lowe?
Is Dan 98% jerk?
Okay, there you go. That's a good question.
All right, I sent them the text. Just says, hey.
You guys think I hate the guy that texts that way.
We're not friends.